if you're kind of like looking at like a house or an apartment building, right? Every floor technically has the same floor plan, right?
Yeah.
So let's think of each floor as like a key. All right. So in the first floor, you're in the key of A minor. All right. So everything on that floor looks exactly the same. Let's say you go to the next floor up and you head to B minor, right? So now you're in the second floor, B minor. So everything on that floor looks exactly the same as the first floor. However, the uh, the the pitch has been slightly moved up a little bit, but everything looks the same, right?
Mhm.
In the next floor,
Mhm.
you're in C minor, everything looks the same. In the next floor, D minor, everything looks the same, but it's higher and higher up. This makes sense, right? All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you go to like, room, 201 or 205 or 207 or whatever, you're always seeing the same things. And of course, maybe the rooms look slightly different because hey, this chord is minor, this chord is major. So when you're looking at chord 1, oh, well, it's a minor room. When you're looking at chord, 2, room 203, every 103, 203, 403, 603, they're all major. So everything in there is like blue. It's colored blue. In the next room, 404, 604, everything's colored, I don't know, blue. Because, wait, is that right? I don't know. Whatever. You get the picture here. Where, like, when you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
those
yeah.
specific room numbers, it follows the same exact color of painting on the wall that you see. Or starting,
Okay.
the analogy is starting to become a little bit complicated here. But essentially, if you're going to be what I want you guys to do in these earlier stages here is not to change floors. All right, because when you do that on your guitar, what happens is you have to now shift everything that you've learned in A minor. You now have to shift it over and play
Mhm.
it like in a different spot, and then you shift it over for the next key, and you have to play it all in different spots. Now
Oh, I got you.
it's pretty easy on the guitar, but it's still confusing because one of the most important things I want you to do is to memorize the fretboard.
Mhm.
So if you start doing this, what happens when you play in other keys is the letters become F sharp, E flat, B flat, D sharp. You get these different sharps and flats all of a sudden into your
Yeah.
letters. And so
Yeah.
now it becomes difficult to figure out what letter you're playing. I don't like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so instead of trying to change keys like that, what I prefer is if we just uh move on the same floor. We stay on the same floor and we pick a different room to sort of as our headquarters. You
Okay.
see?
I got you.
And so now everything else
Yeah.
becomes sort of this relative concept where you're there, but when you look down the hall, you get sort of a different series down there. You look down the hall there, you get sort of a different perspective on this floor plan until you've
Mhm.
memorized this floor plan and you really understand how this floor plan works. And then when you go to the next
Okay.
floor, everything remains the same.
All right. I see what you mean. I see what
It's
you mean.
yeah, it's crazy, but this is how it works, and we want to memorize the fretboard. So everything in the key of A minor and C major are all
Mhm.
these natural letters, and in the other, and of course when you're going to F Lydian or D Dorian, well,
Mhm.
all the letters will still be all the natural letters. So you're basically changing keys without changing letters, and that's what's so cool about playing in these different modes. Okay, so you only
Oh,
have to,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, that means you only have to memorize one position on your guitar. You memorize these chords and these letters on your guitar, and you master that until they become like the back of your hand. You know exactly where every single letter is on the guitar, all the natural letters, all the natural chords, every shape is just totally memorized. So you have instant
Mhm.
access to all this. And if you want to play G sharp, you just move up one
Move it
from
up
whatever
one.
G you're on.
Mhm. All right.
Yeah.
And then that would be.
Uh oh, that wasn't so good. Oh no.
Get it.
Okay, okay, good.
All
All right.
right.
It's a little weird, but you'll see what I mean. Like again, when you play in this D minor, let's go and start with D minor. You're gonna use the same chords as you did for A minor. It's just that now in the key of D Dorian, you're starting on the letter D, so you're looking out from room 104, and you're looking down the hall in room 104, and you're like, okay, well, I know that these the rooms down there, I've already been there, I've already used this as a starting point, so I know what's down on that side of the hall, and I want to know what's on that side of the hall, all right? So go ahead and look out from room 104. And just start playing, a chord progression or something like that. That's D, right?
Yeah.
And
What's D Dorian?
D Dorian, exactly.
What's Dorian? Is that like a mode?
Dorian is the perspective that you have from when you're looking out that room number. If we moved over to the room 107 and we looked down the hall, we'd see more rooms on that side of the hall and only like one room on that side because, obviously we're kind of at the end here. But that, we call that G Mixolydian. All right? We're just giving a different name to that room, a perspective that you get from when you're looking out from that room number.
Okay.
You don't have to memorize the names yet. We will later. But just...
I got
Yeah, it's a perspective.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you're memorizing a different part of the floor plan. You're sort of getting a really good perception from like this part of the floor plan versus starting from this room and you look out.
Gosh.
It's really weird, but it gives you these different flavors. So
Yeah.
So go ahead and start there, and we'll also put on a drum track here.
All right.
Let's see how that goes. quite good there towards the end. We started to notice something very interesting happening.
Yeah, that's when I was feeling it right there.
Yeah,
In
because
the
you
beginning,
see,
I was like, kind of, what's up?
well, yeah, it's hard to sort of get used to this concept of creating your center.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So like when you were
It's
playing
yeah,
at the end there, right? When you played the A minor chord, what usually happens when you play the original root is that it has so much power. Remember, when we're thinking about planets, C major is the sun and A minor is the earth. So like they have a lot of power.
yeah,
And we're here on D minor, we're on planet Venus, and we're like, well, let's go back to planet Earth for a moment. And it's like you feel like you're at home. You're like, yeah, I'm on planet A. I'm on planet Earth
yeah,
again.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
see, because you had done this so well, it didn't feel like it was on Earth anymore. It felt like a strange place to be on A. It felt like your home was back on Venus.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's when you know that you're doing good, and you're planting your roots on that planet that you're on.
Okay, okay.
So, let's switch now to another key, and hey, let's try the F. Let's try F, and or yeah, whatever one you want to choose if is would be fine as well. But hey, F could work.
Okay.
Do you want to try like anything specific you wanted to try?
I'm down to try F. I
All
don't
right.
really start at F that much.
Okay, so let's change tracks and see if you could start from there.
All right.
Keep in mind that oh yeah, I wanted to mention that you did really well on using the sevens and the fives on D. What's the five of D?
C. Oh wait. To be honest, I kind of forgot that.
Oh, okay. Well, you were
Like I
using
kind
it.
of forgot that concept. What's up?
You were using it.
Was that really?
Yeah, and the reason is you were probably using it because those are the best chords that go before D. So when you heard those chords going before your D, then you were like, well, this chord sounds the best from here, so let's use that.
Yeah.
You see? So where's seven in comparison to D? What letter is
C
that?
major.
C major. So that's the one that's just before the chord. Weren't you using that a lot? Like going from the C up to D. You were doing that a whole bunch, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, those two chords, because they work really well. The chord that's just before the
yeah,
chord that you're on, that you're rooting, that's one of the best chords to use as a transition back to that chord, right? The one that comes just before it.
yeah, yeah.
But what about five? Where's five in comparison to D? What letter is that?
A minor.
A minor, exactly. So playing an A minor before a D also works really well. And you were doing that
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well, right? Weren't you doing that? So
yeah, yeah.
using your A as a finisher? Yeah, to go back to D. You see how
Yeah,
your
that's right.
ear, like your ear you just use those chords naturally. That was pretty crazy. Wait, can you still hear me? Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, yeah, so keep that in mind that seven and five are gonna be great. So if you're in F, what do you think? What do you think is seven? What's seven?
E minor.
Okay. How about five?
It's not B diminished, is it? Because that doesn't like, sound right.
Not a B diminished.
Or B minor.
Not a B minor either. It's not. It's not a
Wait.
B.
So I'm counting five away from F, right? So G A.
F, G, A,
Oh,
B. So you gotta
major.
start on that letter. Yeah, exactly. So C major.
Oh,
Um,
I got it.
Also, you could see down here the letters that are involved with these chords. Can you see those letters there?
Yeah.
It tells you what the three letters are. These are the one, the three, and the five. So the first letter is obvious. It's E, and then the last one is the five. So B. That's why it's also helpful to know what letters go in these chords. We'll do that later. Yeah,
Okay.
so those are two most important chords now. It's going to be basically E minor and the C major, and then you got your root on the F here. And also, one thing that you weren't able to do on the D because your guitar isn't big enough is to play the 1 and the 8 together. So try that here on F. Try to sandwich 1 and 8 together.
1 and 8.
One that's F and F on both sides of the fretboard.
Oh, I got
F
you.
down there, and then the F up at the top.
That's all the way to the
That's a little too far there.
Oh, wait, no. That'd be...
Yeah, there you go. So try to sandwich those two because that's kind of your somewhat of a limit. Like, you can go higher than that, it's no problem, but it's somewhat of a limit.
Okay.
All right. This really helps. So you basically have like your 3 main chords that you're always coming back to. Your 1, your 7, your 5, and everything else in between is like stepping stones between these chords. All right.
Yeah. And you're saying, so when I'm counting including the F, so F, G, A,
That's
A,
right.
C.
All right.
All right.
This is chord theory for you here. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try something here in F. Nice. You finally did it there. I was wondering
Yeah,
when you would
yeah.
play a high 7 to the high 8. That was the last thing you did.
Uh,
I think you may have done it maybe one time in there, but you want to be thinking how can you use the high F, well, the high 8, because you played it a few times in there. Just
hmm
I like the high chords. They're nice, and
Yeah.
when you're playing a high 8, what do you think would be a really good chord to put before a high 8?
Um. Let's see. C. C
Well,
major.
C works very well, yeah, because that's going to be your 5. But there's another one too, right? Which is the
D minor
not D minor.
or something. Um. A minor.
Not really. What chord is this?
Hmm.
What's our
E
root?
minor.
E minor would be
E
correct
minor.
there, because that's a 7, right? So high
Yeah.
7 with high 8, you pair those together. You played a low 7 and a low 1, which is perfect. You were going back and forth between F and E minor down there, right? Go
Uh
ahead and try to play that real quick. Let's go low 7 to low 1. Well, that's actually high 7, high 8.
Low
But
seven.
that works as well, right? Yeah. So you see that
Oh, I
works
got
pretty
you.
well there. Let's go back to the high 7,
Yeah.
the high 8. Nice. So that works really well
Yeah.
there. And that was good. Now I didn't hear any 1 to 8s directly.
One,
Maybe
two.
like
So
once.
like.
I heard it once. Yeah. See that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are really important too.
Mhm.
All right, so this is pretty nice. One of the cool things about this particular layout of the chords is that you can easily see sort of like how you're moving, the distance relationship between these chords here. And
Yeah.
in some of the other ways that we look at chords, we don't get that same view. We have to kind of skip. You know, it's not as horizontal. We have to sort of include vertical transitions as well, which can be a little bit weird. So it's nice seeing how this horizontally just lays out in this big line, because it's kind of cool how you can just see how far apart certain things are and how close together other things
Yeah.
are. So let's try maybe one more key here, and which one do you want to try?
Let's see. How about C major
All right, all right. I suppose we could do that.
or or G
That'll be
major?
fine. G major. Okay, fine. Let's do that. Yeah, I was thinking G because it's gonna be basically the only other key that you kind of use as there's not that many keys as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, so we're
huh?
not doing modes. We're doing keys.
Well, these are keys. These are modes. The keys, modes, and the keys are the same thing. It's like a key. It's like a mode. Whatever.
Oh, I got you.
I call them keys. You can call them modes. Technically, they're
Okay.
not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit blurry on those two terms there, key and mode. It's to me they're the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, let's use the last drum track here. Let's start with the G, and we'll play in the key of F or G Mixolydian there.
All right. Uh,
Doing pretty good here. You can tell that when you were playing an F, it sounded like F was the root. It sounded like you were really playing an F Lydian there, and
yeah.
that's just it has a different feel than what happened when we were playing in E Phrygian, like didn't it? Had a totally different feel.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But we're using the same chords.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And this is all one key. It's not like we're playing in multiple keys here. This is all the same key with the same chords and the same letters. But because
Really.
yeah, it's the
Oh.
same key. All they're all the same key. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. That is weird.
But because you're starting in different locations and you're forcing your ear to hear certain distances, you're forcing your 1 and your 8 like that. You're forcing that limit. You're forcing the focus. Think about a big spotlight looking at like a different section of this, and then your spotlight moves over here, and now you're focusing on that section of this. See? So you're focusing on different sections.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is insane.
So key of G, key of F, like I was just playing, those are the same keys still?
Yeah, those are the key. Those are the same key. The key. I mean, we'll call them modes now because we can now have to sort of realize that the key is A minor, or C major. Again, those are the same key, right? A minor, C major, same key.
Okay, all right. So
right?
We're playing that key this whole time.
We're playing in the key of A minor and C major the whole time, but because you started on F, and you started on E now, and now you're starting on G. These are the different modes that you have within that key.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it is crazy, right? And very few, I don't know. This is kind of not really used a lot in music. People tend to just change keys. They're like, well, let's play in the key of E minor now. They'll pick a random letter and then they'll just do the same exact pattern. They'll just choose a different floor of the house, but they'll always live on room 101. They'll always pick the 1. They'll always go, hey, let's move to the 4th floor, and we're going to start on 401 and look out from there every time, every single time. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. Yeah. I just don't understand. Actually, I do understand, because when I was learning this from my teacher, and I didn't really have a total understanding of all this and how it really impacts music, it made more sense to me to be like, well, hey, let's go up to the 7th floor and we'll start on room 701 and we'll look down there and we'll see. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm on the 7th floor now all of a sudden. Or I go back to floor 5. I'm on 501. All right, so look from 501. Hey, it looks like this. It made sense to me. I was changing floors. It felt like a new atmosphere to me, but it wasn't. What the hell? All right, so let's move down the hall over to room 107. We're always on the 1st floor. We're never going to change floors yet. Later we'll change floors, so you can see. It's not that great changing floors. It's just it's the same room. It's not that great, but we're gonna move down the hall to room 107, starting on the 7th chord of the key here, and focus on that chord and see how that sounds now. A little bit different. Remember to use the 7s and the 5s and the 1 to 8 here. Those are the most important chords. Try to keep doing those things, because when you change keys and you try it in different or when you change modes and you do that same thing in different modes, it actually feels pretty different. Even though you're making the same movements.
So the 7 and the 5 would be F major and E minor.
And what was the second one?
E minor? I'm counting 5 away from G. I'm counting the A minor. What am I doing?
It's D. You notice here the 3 letters below says GBD?
Yeah.
So D is your 5.
Okay.
Now F is your 7, so you can definitely use D, F, and G are going to be important chords. Everything else is stepping stones. Go ahead and try to use a B diminished in here somewhere as well, because that'll give you something too.
I
didn't hear any B diminishes in there. Yeah. That's right.
All right.
Try to use the high 8.
Okay.
Keep in mind that the high chord you were playing was a 7, right?
This one? Oh,
That one there.
okay.
It's your 7. Where's the 8?
8. Or 8.
There's the 8. Perfect. Long ass track, huh? We can go pause it there if you want.
Alright.
Alright, man. So that was definitely really good, and you know, out of all the different students that I have, so far this is the best use of chords that I've heard. So I'll give you an 8 on this. Yeah. Now, in order to get a little bit better score, I think you might need to use a little bit more high chords, because well, your guitar is kind of stopping you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of the big excuse I hear from a lot of students. Well, it's hard to play up at the top. My guitar won't let me.
I feel like I could though if I just practice enough.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more practice, and if you get a 24-fret guitar, it'll be a little bit easier as well. Cough, cough,
Yeah.
wink, wink. So yeah, but yeah, so that was great. Now I want to move forward here and push you into the next level of alternate picking exercises, and we'll see how quickly you can get that. I want to try getting into the next octave concept as well, with pentatonics and whatnot.
Yeah, I learned that too. alternate picking songs.
Did you get those too?
Yeah, I just learned them before today.
Oh, really? Okay, they're not that hard, right? So let's go and start with the first one, which was Welcome. Were you able to play along with the music and stuff? And
Yeah.
nice, easy, right? So hey, if you got
Yeah.
those already, that means we can move forward.
All right. Sweet. Let's see. Should I play the Welcome to Bucketland one?
Let's do that
Buckethead
one.
All right.
You got like a distortion on your amp and whatnot.
Um. So on this end, this is like a little practice amp, but I'm gonna be going home soon from school, and
Okay.
so I'll have all like the
All right,
all
I
my
got you.
actual amp.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's hear how that goes there on that one and how this works.
All right.
Songs aren't difficult here in this book.
What's up?
These songs aren't difficult in this book.
Yeah, this one seemed pretty simple, straightforward. I'm guessing the full song's way harder though. That good?
Yeah, that was good on the fingers, except for on the first two notes, 5 and 2. You can leave your index finger down when you're playing that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Everything else is perfect on that. You have another option that you can do at the end is sliding your ring finger up, but I kind of like using the pinky sometimes. I don't know, it feels a little bit better to me. But those are the two options there.
Yeah.
And of course the picking, I wanted to make sure that this all these things, they start on the downstroke, right? Every string. So I think what happened on the last string is that you flipped to an upstroke. I'm not really sure. I kind of saw some weird things happening with the hand though. No, okay, so
Oh, like right there.
no.
Okay.
Just on the like on the fast part. Over here at the end, I don't care what you do with your pick, because this is just the last couple of notes. But in this section here, right, it starts on a down here. You see it's indicated down, 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 and then on the
Oh,
string
that's
we
what that-
switch. Yeah, we switch to that downstroke there. I thought I saw an upstroke on this last four here though, but I'm not sure. Not this part here. This part here. Yeah. Was that what you were doing there? You got a downstroke on this one?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, that looks good. All right, just to make sure, because if you switch to an upstroke here, then you're using directional picking and not alternate picking. A little different.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, but I think you were. If that was the way that you were playing, then that would be alternate picking. Is that correct? Were you using alternate picking?
Yeah, I was going like that the whole time.
Okay, great. Nice. So now let's head over to the second page, the second song here. That was perfect. Keep in mind that if you want to get a really high score here, I'll go ahead and give you. I know what, I'll give you an extra one just because you managed to figure it out by yourself. And we'll do a 9. If you want to get faster and get to that 10, I'm gonna try to play it with the original song, and it's gonna be ridiculously fast. So good luck with that.
All right.
Super fast.
It's so fast, so the string's tighter, so like it doesn't catch the pick for me as much. When I'm like, it's easier to like strum quicker up here because like the strings are tighter, so it doesn't like catch the pick as much.
Well, that's true, but if you notice here when I hold my pick, you see how I hold this pick here? It's at an angle, about 45-degree angle, right? So
I
it
got you,
doesn't
yeah.
catch the string.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, what?
Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So let's try the other one here, Cowboys from Hell. Very good job there on figuring this out by yourself. I made it
Thank you.
really slow because a lot of students struggle in this book here. When they're learning these songs, they're usually kind of still coming from the beginner side of things.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Alright, let's pause this here. Alright, you got the notes right?
Uh
The
huh.
pick.
Picking's wrong.
So if you notice here, notice what we have here. Little U's.
Oh, up, up, up. Oh.
Everything starts on an upstroke.
Damn. Wait, that's weird.
Not all the notes, just the first note and every other note from there. The odd notes, they start on upstrokes.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, and then keep the alternate picking consistent, so every time you change strings, you use an upstroke.
Okay.
Slow it down, slow it down. Let's try it again and just kind of keep it slow. That last note, those last couple notes, notice here you've got a hammer on, so that way you can end on an upstroke at the end as well.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
a new
hard.
it's just a new perspective of picking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take some getting used to.
Now, for that first couple notes, 7-10, 7-10, you can also you can leave your index finger down so you don't have to lift it up in that particular
Oh, yeah.
location there. You got this. Do you know the last part too as well?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. This
All
is a pull off.
upstrokes.
It's a pull off here. At the end, I think I switched this to a down up at the end. I mean, it's not a big deal here. I like using it down here because up, down, up helps for me to play that there.
Yeah.
I like how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's play that again a couple times with the song. We'll just go through it once or whatever.
Alright.
And then we can move forward to the next thing. Since you already know how to play this, just might have to get a slightly lesser score if your picking isn't quite consistent.
Okay.
But you can practice that this week. It should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Let me give you a hint here, by the way.
Uh-huh.
In order to get used to this easier, make your upstrokes really strong. So it's like
Okay.
that, right? When you do that, you'll get more used to that.
Okay. Keep going back to the regular one.
That was close. Go ahead and try. You got that right a couple of times. Let's go ahead and do it without the music. Focus on doing those strong upstrokes because that'll really help.
Okay.
That last part, I think up, down, up might be nice. I don't know. I like it that way.
Okay.
Or one more shot and then we'll move on.
All right,
Yeah,
with
without the music, just to get a little practice there. I'll give you a 7 on this one here.
All right.
Now, technically, I could even give you an 8, but I'll let you practice that just a little bit this week, and I'll give you a 9 if you could play with the song and whatnot. Because you did figure it out yourself.
All right, cool.
Hey, man, most people don't do that. You get extra points. Now, that was really good, actually, yeah. So that's perfect. I'm glad that... Yeah. Alright, let's move forward. We'll move on to the Pentatonic Octaves. Unlocking the new level here. Let's see if I can do that. This one is only just a small little extension from our triad octaves. But from here, once we get into this other stuff, this is when things get really intense. Alright? And this one's still kind of just a little bit of a basic intro to things. And then we'll start doing some more crazy things pretty soon. Alright? Yeah. Think of this first, about half of this book that we've got here is just kind of like, it's the transition from, really beginner status to being able to do stuff that's kind of, kind of creative, learning a little bit of that theory stuff. What do we got here? We're going to be looking at here. And this is going to be level 6. And since you figured out those songs, I'll go ahead and add in level 7 as well, so you can maybe try to get these 2 songs this week. Let's see if you can do that.
Okay.
All right. These are a little bit more interesting. So let's start on our pentatonic octaves. We'll go over here to where is it? That's right over here. Pentatonic octaves. We don't have too much time here, but wait, yeah, we do. We have about 15, 20, maybe 20 minutes, I think. Maybe 15. I can't remember. When did we start? I think we started at 5:30, right? So we got 15 minutes there, but we'll see if we can get another 20 in here, just in case. This one is again just sort of an extension of the triad octaves. I can't remember if I had you actually go through the whole triad octave workout.
See, with the backing tracks and all that.
The triad octave workout is when you do all the positions in one run. Okay, I don't think we did that.
Oh, so you combine them together?
Yeah, sort of. So that's why we still kind of have not the highest score here on triad octaves. You did well when you were doing improvising, but we also want to do a drilling section. Drilling is important because when you do your drills, that means that you have got your scales down, right? You've got the positions down, like that. You don't have to think about it. You could do your improvising perfectly fine, but even if you don't necessarily have all the scale positions down that well, you could still do it. But it's going to be that much better if you've drilled it as well. But we'll start with the fun stuff, and then we can go back into the drills a little later. So we'll look at the octaves diagram here. I'm going to try to close some of these other windows. Pentatonic octaves and the pentatonic octaves here as well. Okay, so we kind of have another 2 things. Very interesting. What is all this stuff? Let's try to understand how this works. Here's a major box right here. We have 3 levels, 3 layers of music theory, essentially, or scale theory. The first one is in the middle here, which is triads. What's triads all about?
Triads is like the 3 notes that sound best in the scale.
That's right. Let's go to A minor and play the triads for A. There are 3 of them. Super easy there. And let's get that last note in there. Nice. With the pinky, of course, up there, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So that's your triad. Now, the next layer up is pentatonics. This is now when we can add in the next best notes. Those are the 3 best, and now let's add in 2 more notes that are going to make this sound a little bit more interesting, because it's not perfect, but it's still good. So let's throw in the pentatonics, and in order to do that, you're still going to work with your 1 3 5, but now you're going to add in 4 here. Go ahead and play that 1 3 4 5. And then come back over here to the low 7 and hit that note real quick.
The low 7?
Right behind the 1.
Wait, so 1 3 4 5.
Then go to the low 7. There it is. And you go back to 1 there.
Yeah.
Right, next octave.
Oh, okay.
Hit the low 7 there. That's the really low 7. We're going to stay within that 2 strings, within those 2 strings. Perfect. Next octave. Nice. Try not to do a slide there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little weird. Nice, there you go. It's okay.
It's kind of a hack.
I mean, it's fine when you're improvising.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a drill here, you want to kind of either use two different fingers, index, ring, or just use, you can even just stop on the 7 if you want to. Kind of like that.
Okay.
Or just use your index finger on both of them. I don't really know. I can't remember how I did the. I also might have even skipped the 7. See, because the 7's easy enough to play. You kind of know where it is, so I may have skipped it in the drills. We'll see what happened. I don't remember. So that's their minor 3 positions for pentatonic. Let's again sort of take a look at the little the baseball field that we have here, and I sort of labeled this as our bases. We have our 1, we have our 3, we have our 8, and our 5. Right? All the other numbers are within the lines, on the line. So we got our 2, our 4, our 6, and our 7. Anytime you're playing, can you describe this? What does it mean to you when you see this?
So the 1, 3, 8, and 5 are maybe like the notes that sound best, and the ones between are like ones you could like transition into before you hit that best note.
Great. So what does this mean in terms of baseball rules? What are the rules of baseball?
Let's see. Oh, so you got to run it first. So
You don't necessarily have to follow this in
yeah,
the order of bases, but what happens when you're on a base?
you're safe.
You're safe. What happens when you're running around?
You're not safe.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Simple.
Yeah.
Awesome, right? Makes music theory so easy when you look at it like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So, yeah. The minor ones are pretty simple. Once you go past the pentatonics, you start playing the full scale shape. You no longer get super good sounds every time. So, you kind of have to be careful when you're playing the entire scale. That's why we sort of broke it down into the triad first, so you really understand what those bases are. Then we play pentatonics, so you understand where the next best notes are. And then later, we'll add in the other notes from the scale so you can sort of see, yeah, you can still go a little further, but sometimes it doesn't sound that great. Right? You gotta know when to avoid certain things and when you can play certain things. We still want to do a little bit of let's just kind of read this here real quick. You want to consider the tone of your guitar when you're playing over these backing tracks, right? If you got like a hard backing track, you want to put some distortion. If you have a nice mellow one, you don't want to use distortion. You want to try matching the rhythm and beat, right? All right. Now keep in mind that when you're playing high, like if you're playing on the high strings and you make chords, what happens? As compared to when you're playing on low strings and you're making chords, what happens on the low strings? What happens on the high strings when you're playing chords, like multiple notes at the same time?
High strings are like low strings are like softer, highs like screechy, kind of loud.
Okay, and yeah, so that's right. Now, what does that do for you? Kind of. Why did I check mark the high ones and I X'd out the low ones? Why is that? You can try to think about that.
Let's see.
It has to do with the vibration sizes.
They don't ring out as long.
Which one?
The high ones.
Which one rings out better?
The low ones.
Okay, so it's actually the other way around. The low ones, if you try playing low strings and you make chords in the low, go and try that. Just try, on the low. It'll be okay without music, but yeah, try to make a low chord. Pick it. Play a 7 and I don't know, play some low strings together. obviously you have to follow the pattern. It's a little difficult. You may not be able to do this, but I'll play it here on the guitar. You'll see what I mean here. When I play these low chords, like say, you can't really tell. I don't know if you can even hear that. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of difficult to tell what notes I'm playing here.
Yeah.
But if I play some high notes, let's see, I'm still in A here. It's gonna cut through the music. It's gonna be louder, right? So high notes cut through the music, and you can hear them clearly, and the low notes are like mud. Not gonna hear them clearly. So if you're ever trying to play chords, think about that. The 4 stages of improv that we have here. Let's review that real quick. What are the 4 stages of improv?
Drilling, discovery, control.
Right, and what do they all do? What do they mean? What is the first stage? Drilling.
Just memorizing the patterns.
Exactly.
Don't do anything.
Right. So what I just had you do when you ran up and down those scales is I had you do a little bit of drilling. That's what we do when we do the runs. The what is it called here? That's level 6, right? So the octaves work out here. If you do this one, this is just a drill. There's nothing cool about it. It's just a freaking drill. In level 2, discovery, what's that all about?
Finding what notes work kind of together, like making chords or something.
Yeah, just trying new things, figuring things out, and basically I call it forced sloppiness. Because you're not trying to sound good. You're trying to do new stuff that maybe you've never done before.
Yeah.
And you're trying to explore.
Yeah.
Number 3 is control. So what's control all about?
Understanding what the song's about.
We haven't actually done any control exercises, so maybe you don't really know what that's all about.
Yeah, not really.
Alright, this is when I give you some restrictions and give you rules and directions and make you control your guitar playing. So like, start on this note, end on that note. That's an example.
Oh, okay.
Right. Control exercises. You're starting to take the wheel and you got to drive it to specific locations. Control.
Yeah.
For fluency, this is level 4. What's fluency all about?
Being like on beat, on track, sounding good.
Sounding good, exactly. You're trying to fit with the music and trying to make it sound like it makes sense in context of what you're doing, what you're listening to, and all that. Most guitar players tend to focus on which one of these. What do guitar players tend to skip over?
Fluency first.
Fluency. People like to go straight to fluency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they might do some drilling. You might go up and down a whole bunch of shapes and scales and say, okay, now I've done my drills. Let's go straight to fluency. Most people tend to skip maybe a little bit of discovery. They'll try a little bit of things, but they won't give it they won't call it a name, and they won't section, give it they won't distinguish between them. They'll try to throw it all together, kind of. And and if they're doing their discovery phase and it doesn't sound good, they think they suck. And they think, well, why can't I do this nice? Why aren't I good at guitar? Why can't I be fluent yet? Well, you gotta try discovery first. You gotta separate that into its own compartment. Yeah. You gotta separate the control stage. And people tend to I've very rarely do people ever do control. Right? Control is holy moly, you're doing control right now? Who does that? When have you ever heard of these things? You've heard of drilling, you've heard of discovery, just playing random stuff, you've heard of fluency, but when have you heard of control?
Yeah, never.
Right. The final diagram here, this is about the octaves that you're using, so you might want to start on the low octave or middle octave, go up to the high octave, come back down to the low, go up to the high, stay there for a while, come back to mid, go back to low, and go back up here. This is think of the middle octave as your average, your low octave as your below average. So I tend to start in the middle octave because it's kind of the average location there. All right. So we may have to sort of talk about these things a few times as you continue to do your practice on this. But let's just start real quick here and see if we can get a practice session in here of the A minor track and just you know. You want to do a drill again real quick? Go up and down the scales real quick here to remind yourself. Perfect. And how about the high, the super high, the last one? And where's the 7?
Oh,
where's the 7? Where's the 7?
Wait. 7, right?
Yeah, but on the high, the super high, the last one's an 8, right? Where's the 7?
Oh.
Where's the 7? Where's the 7? You don't you don't have to do the whole thing. You just have 2 notes up there, an 8 and a 7.
8. No, that doesn't sound right.
I think that was right. That's a 7 there, right?
Right there.
Yeah, just use index and ring for the 7 and 8 up there. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, so I'm guessing that's where like the whole pentatonic scale ends and then restarts from here.
Yeah, I think that's right. You could try to do another one off of that 8 that you see up there, because that's your 8. But you're gonna run out of strings and locations.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of stopped it there. So yes, go ahead and try to solo over this. And I know we just kind of rambled on about all these different things that we had here written on the page, but you know, see if you can try to just do some stuff and sort of maybe apply some of these things. So the chord stuff, the rhythm stuff, the octave location movement, the focusing on which stage are we on here?
All right.
Which stage of improv are we working with?
Stage of improv. What stage?
Which one is this? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh, we're gonna discover.
That's correct. So it doesn't have to sound good. I just want you to just try as many things as you possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah, and then focusing on 1, 3, 5, and 8 as your safe places, and the other notes that you're playing here within the pentatonics, try to get off them quick and go back to a try note as you can. Let's see how this goes.
All right. Yo, one sec. I'm doing a guitar lesson.
Consider the tone and the rhythm.
Yeah, bro.
Very good. All right, man. So that was really nice. So you tried to do a whole bunch of different things there. One thing that you can kind of notice when you don't have a lot of notes and you don't have much to do, people tend to play sort of the same things a lot, right? You're sort of noticing that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why we have to force our discovery stage, and eventually, like when right now it's still kind of new to you, so you're still kind of doesn't matter too much, but the same things that you've done, you're playing here. I've heard it a million times before, and it's hard to come up with new ideas, so eventually you get bored of playing the same things that you've done over and over again, and you have to force your sloppiness to get out of these bad habits, or these not bad habits, but old habits. And that's what we do not only in Discovery here, but also during Control, where I have you basically I give you the same rule, and it's a very strict rule, and I'm forcing you to come up with some new idea using that same rule. And that becomes very difficult, so you have to figure out how to do that. And you'll notice that again when you go into these different keys and stuff. You'll be basically playing the same things. You'll be playing the same things, the same notes, the same patterns, the same rhythms, the same riffs, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, this all sounds like the same thing that I just did before. How am I gonna fix that?" The way to do that is to make stretches. Use different rhythms. All right.
Okay.
When we're talking about this here, I'll give you 2 hints here. So use weird finger stretches / string skipping. Okay, this gives you a huge advantage over just using 2 strings together. If you stay within your same octave, multi-octave, we want to use multi-octave riffs. So you don't just play in your one octave that you're in, you're going to use a multi-octave riff. So you use multiple octaves inside the same riff with some string skipping in there and weird finger stretches. This is one great way to do that. And also use kind of rhythmic schematics, where you might sort of you have to plan your rhythms, where you might do an ABAC type of schematic there. All right, so these are some ideas for that. It's kind of advanced stuff, but in order to get good ideas, you gotta use advanced tricks,
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, because we're keeping this so simple and so easy, it's not too difficult to throw in these advanced tactics in here, right? I mean, you're just using a couple of notes and it's the same shape, and it's so now you can think a level ahead, because it's like an onion, and guitar playing is like an onion, where once you've removed the layer of difficulty, and now you're pretty good at that, you can now think about the next layer of difficulty. Remove that, you now think of the next layer of difficulty. So Once you're kind of good at technique, then you can start learning these scale things, these scale shapes, these weird ways. And then notice how we thought of a next level in terms of like modes and how you can view things down the hallway. And then you can think of the next level of how you can use like multi-octave riffs and stuff. Like, what the nobody thinks like that, you know? I mean, of course that we do, but not beginner stuff. This isn't things you learn on your first day of music theory. You learn how like the scales are constructed. Notice I haven't even told you about how scales are actually constructed with like two notes, one note, two note. We haven't even talked about that. We're already thinking about multi-octave scales and rhythmic schematics. Because the theory we're doing is so easy and so simple, you can already think at a high level.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. See, it doesn't matter what kind of music theory you know. That's just BS, man. Some of the best songs have been written with, I don't know, 2 chords and 2 notes. Okay, maybe 4 chords and 4 notes. Right? Some of the best songs I've ever written were with just a few notes, a few things, but at a high level of like complexity. You know, with the pentatonic scale and rhythmic schematics and cool stuff like that, you know. So forget about trying to learn complicated music theory. Just master these basics and you'll get really good.
Sweet.
Awesome, man. So we're gonna have to go ahead and stop here.